Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Psicast. I'm your host, Robert Marsi, and I am here with Bill Montana.
How you doing, Robert?
Doing great.
The first edition of Sidecast.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be kind of exciting because this is a program that's really never been done before. And a few things you need to know about Sidecast. The Sidecast is a listener-funded podcast for all aspects of psychic entertainment. To contribute to the Psicast, you can message me at bill@billmontana.com. Although the website's not working, I'll respond to you with the actual donation information. So if you'd like to hear more of these, we can do it basically for free, but we do need donations to pay like servers and this kind of thing. So, and we're away.
Yeah.
Now, on each episode of Sidecast, we're going to do some things very differently, okay? Very differently than the other podcasts, although from time to time we will have special guest appearances from other notables in the industry of psychic entertainment. Now, this won't only be just like mind readers. This will be professional psychics, fringe scientists, great out-of-the-box thinkers and researchers, and all kinds of stuff that we can draw from their experience and use in our message to other people. So this is going to be some fascinating stuff we're going to cover. So it doesn't have any directions. There's no actual scripts or any of that. So forget about all that. That stuff's boring. This is all fresh and raw. Whatever gets on tape's on tape. So if we got pop static noise, that's because we don't have any money to buy expensive microphones. So donate to this so we can buy some upgrade the equipment. We're doing this purely as an educational thing, and trying to turn some of our other fellows on to some new information and some interesting happenings that are going down in the world of psychic entertainment. Okay? Now, the way me and Robert define psychic entertainment is probably a little bit different than some of you may define psychic entertainment. Now, to us, psychic entertainment can be the local psychic at a tarot parlor, metaphysical bookshop, reading tarot cards, palm readers. Could be some fringe scientists working on the energy of paranormal studies. Could be some guys just doing some really out-of-the-box research and thinking into some various types of fields. We all consider that just kind of a psychic fringe entertainment kind of thing, okay? We'll just call it fringe because I think it's a more enveloping term. So on each week's episode, we are going to do a couple things. There's going to be a couple things that are standard. One is the buzz, if possible. Now, the buzz is really cool because we get to talk about new items that are coming out to the market that are not on the market as of yet, that we're actually excited to see. That seems fair enough. So we now, let me make this clear, we also do some product reviews. Okay, but these are only on reviews of things we own and personally use. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean I want you guys to send me all your magic stuff and stuff like that. No. Stop that. If you do want us to review a product for you, and we know we may do that in the future, at this time we're not doing that. We're only reviewing stuff that we actually endorse and like. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or if we bought something we don't like it, we're going to shred it to pieces.
Right.
So these aren't going to be the marketing reviews because we don't make any money on the buzz or the marketing reviews. These are just products from our friends that we may have picked up or found out about. Okay, so that's very fair, I think. Now, you had some stuff you wanted to add?
No, I was just going to say that, yeah, I mean, there's no lack of products that come out on the market. I mean, every day we look, no matter where we go in the magic world, I mean, there's something new all the time. So we just want to keep it straight and simple, stuff that, that we like. And I'm sure that those of you who are psychic entertainers, everything, we want to, review good stuff that we know that we would use and you would use. Because there's just so much crap out there, it's not even funny.
Now, we're also going to define this into two terms. And these are two specialized terms. One's called tools. The other one's called materials. Now, a material can be a tool, or a tool can be a material. It does vary a little bit. Now, basically, essentially, tools and materials are two things. A tool is a working thing that you can use, like a hammer, to build something, or to construct something within your performance, your act, your lecture, your talk. A material is something you use in the talk as a physical object to explain something or explain the building process. Okay? A lot of the stuff that we're going to be featuring in the way of products will be in either the tools or the materials category. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, the reason I call it tools and materials, because it's a way of thinking about how to create something. Take this object here and then turning it into something even more. Okay, use it as a building tool to build our presentations or whatever. So we're not looking at it as in effects. I'm sick of the effect. These effects are so generalized and single in purpose that they're not open-ended enough, and I don't even want to deal with them. Okay, so we're not looking at effects, tricks, and this kind of thing. Some of the stuff we're going to be covering comes straight from metaphysics, in that arena. So, and those are tools and materials, right? Mm-hmm. And tarot cards. And oracle decks. These are just great things we can use. We can buy and use, okay? I'm trying to explain that concept because it's a little difficult and it's a little advanced. But I'm going to, we'll try to get into that as we go along through this series. So we're not doing, for you straight psychic entertainers out there, magic trick reviews. I'm done with that shit. Okay?
Yeah.
Care less. Unless it's a tool or a material or something that's beyond the general scope of normal run-of-the-mill stuff, without giving any too much away. And then one of the other features is we're going to talk about some of our products because, we got to pay for this. We're already out of pocket on this one. So we got to, plug a few things of ours. And, these are things I build. Or I build or Robert works with me on. Some products. And we'll just do random products every now and then. We won't bog you down with that type of thing. So then we'll have a major topic of discussion, and that'll be the podcast, or the sidecast. Fair? I just figured we establish some of the ground rules up front, so they don't have any, they know what they're in for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is a no-hold-barred conversation. We'll try to keep it fairly tame. Fairly. That probably won't last long. But hey, whatever. Get used to it. So, the first thing, I don't know. There's so much good stuff out there. I don't know what to start with. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we start with the buzz or we start with our product review for the week. What do you want to start with?
I say we start with the buzz.
Start with the buzz? Okay. The buzz is huge this week. The buzz is just unbelievable this week. Bear with me 1 second because I just had to go get a new mouse today because the other one blew up. The new buzz is the legendary Tom Jorgensen is getting ready to release a new work. It is called... Okay. Now, for those you don't know, Tom Jorgensen, that's Jorgensen is how you spell his last name. Getting ready to put out a work called Journey to Atlantis, the Turnkey Past Lives Workshop. It's a manuscript book form. It's going to be out within a week or so. Talk to editing now. Now, for those of you who don't know, he put out one of his major pieces he put out that I just absolutely fell in love with. This very short manuscript called The Red Light Mystery, doing a red light seance. Really, the whole effect in that is about one paragraph, and it's only about 4 pages long. But the first 3.5 pages there are beautiful commentary of an old psychic here in Dayton, which is just lovely. So if you live in this area, you'll really get a kick out of that. I read it like 10 or 15 times in an airport waiting on a plane. I mean, it's just brilliant. And the other one was his medicine show book, which talked about using magic and medicine show pitches and mixing them together. He's got one on the Georgia magnets, kind of scarce. But the new one, this new one, I mean, Journey to Atlantis, the turnkey past lives workshop. So what are you going to give you in this? Apparently, is a whole turnkey, ready to go workshop on past lives. I mean, that's exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, Tom used to be a tarot reader and a few other things. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing. So that's going to be, I think that one's going to be, that's got contention for the book of the year, in my opinion. Because on my main list of, great works that have been written in the last 20 years, Tom's definitely up there,
Uh-huh.
The other one, kind of a past book review, let me do that real quick, is The Sins and Secrets of Robert Nelson by Damien Ribble, who passed here last year. It's a brilliant book. It's a little paperback book, about 80 pages, single-sided print, so, about 40 pages really. But it talks about Damien when he was a child working at Robert Nelson's place in Columbus, Ohio, at Nelson Enterprises. He was the kid in the back room building all your miniature or your small-size, ultra-perfect clipboards in the 60s and early 70s in that area. So that one's going to be that's an exciting read if you can find a copy. I heard there's going to be a reprint on that. I don't know when it's going to be coming out. But once it does, grab a copy because it is one of the best reads in decades.
Wow.
Phenomenal work. I mean, I absolutely adore that thing. Now, the next item is something that's already on the market and highly endorsed by us. It is called the Traveler's Zodiac Deck by Larry Kuehn. Kuehn, in case I pronounced his name incorrectly. That is a Zodiac deck, fairly small deck. You got 2 sets of color cards. The Zodiacs, the back designs in color, and you got 1 set that's printed in black and white. So you got a total of 36 cards. And they're Zodiac cards. I mean, they're really cool. Yeah, I actually use it. I love them. They're about the size of a bicycle playing card, maybe a little smaller, maybe, that range. But for a lot of the Zodiac stuff you're going to be doing, astrology, Zodiac stuff, these are really, really handy. And you can get those you can find out more about those at Stevens Magic Emporium. I think they're $30. Yeah, $30. And they're, according to this, they are currently in stock. Now, Larry made a bunch of stuff over the years. For those of you that know him, you'll know what I'm talking about. Brilliant mind, brilliant designer. Really do like his stuff. So that's the hot product review for this week in the mind reading category. And the Past Lives Workshop is our buzz piece for this week, which I think is just outstanding. Do you have anything on your end?
No, I was just going to say that, or ask you that the cards, you've taken a look at those cards, and they look pretty good for, like, your serious reader.
Yeah, that's what I use them for.
Yeah. So they look pretty...
And, on the face side, it's really pretty much simple. It just says, and there's a number on it, like 1 through 12. Number 1 is Aries. Well, Aries symbol. On the other side, you got Aries both ways, so you can read it upside down or right side up. So it doesn't matter how the card comes out, it's always facing the right direction. It's just black and white text. It's a very simply designed card, but it's a very beautiful card.
Wow.
I love them. I absolutely love them. one of my cherished decks, and you know how I feel about most card trades.
Uh-huh.
Not all that impressed. But yeah, this is one of the approval. Yeah, this is one that actually I do actually enjoy using. I think it's a really nice, clean, simple deck. It's well made, nice paper. It's not overly kill like the heavy old bicycles, but it's nice. It'll last a while. You know, buy two. It's a problem. By the time this one wears out, you probably want another one, and then we'll be around. So spend your $60 well, right there at Stephen's Magic Emporium with Traveler Zodiac deck.
Wow, nice.
Now, I think that's it for the actual first couple reviews. Anyway, we'll get to more of those later. But a lot of people turning into this for the first time won't know about any of this stuff, so we'll probably lose them and we'll have a flood of questions. So that's okay. Those are the first two pieces that I'm pretty stoked about. The main one is that Tom Jorgensen piece. Woo!
Yeah, let's go back to that because I took a look at the picture of it, and you've got like a turnkey past lives workshop, and
I think you got a pitch book with it too. I'm not sure of that, but there's two booklets there.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, that's what it looks like. But any of you who are familiar with Tom Jorgensen's work stuff, I mean, the guy's brilliant.
He really is.
He really knows how to handle the your typical metaphysical crowd. Because
what's funny is we lived like 40 miles away from each other, but we never met. For years. And he moved. I figured out. The other one was called the Red Light Mystery. The Red Light Mystery, and it is astounding. My copy appears to have a little drawing by Tom Jorgensen on the back that's in color, actually. Kind of cool. Just didn't notice that before. Well, I read it like 14 times. But, yeah, it's a short little publication. You get most of Tom's stuff through Tom himself, so you have to find Tom and get it directly from him. But definitely scour the vintage pages. He's put out over 30 manuscripts over the years, and I have a few of them here. But if he put something out, I'd buy it all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I remember when you pointed me towards a manuscript of his. I think it was all on busking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Colonel of the Medicine Show pitching manuscript.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool stuff.
It's just a great way to think about that kind of genre, Mm-hmm. And it is George Magnet work where he takes modern effects or classics of magic and mixes them with his Georgia Magnet thing, and the whole thing just becomes so much more interesting. But yeah, Tom's work's fabulous. Definitely a high review here. And we haven't even seen this journey to Atlantis yet, but we're claiming the teeth to get a copy. It's just not out yet. That's the only reason we don't have it. But I know all the stuff I've bought from him over the years. I've never got anything that I didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something in there that was worth way more than the $10 or $15, $20, whatever I spent for it. Now, I did hear another rumor. Let's leak that one out because we can. I heard he's getting ready to put all of his original 30 manuscripts he's put out into a single book form.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a rumor right now. Came from Tom on a post, but we'll see how that goes. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a daunting task.
Now, that would be really great. I mean, if he put all those manuscripts together into one book form, I mean, that's destined to be a classic right there. I mean, all of them.
It's definitely getting on the shelf, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's made it to the shelf, and that's pretty hard to do these days because a lot of stuff I've sold off.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't good enough for my bookshelf.
Yeah,
So there's a couple things that are coming out that I think are cool. Traveler's Zodiac deck by Larry, Lary, by the way. Not one R, not two. Kuehn, available at Stevens. Definitely worth buying there. Also, Stevens Magic Emporium is one of my dealers. There you can find some Bill Montana products at if you so desire. So, yeah. So that's the buzz and the product review for the week. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
We might get into something.
Yeah, let me just put a shout-out for as an extra product in there. Our good friend, Doc Hilford, he put out a new effect, which I thought was really, really good, especially for psychic entertainers looking for a really neat effect. I certainly enjoyed it. He came out with a product called Blackmail, which is basically produces the perfect clairvoyance type of effect. And what it is, it's like a pro package. It comes with a video. He teaches you, like he gives you a little history of like, you know, how he did certain, you know, build divination effects and things of that nature. But if I remember correctly, he's going to be coming out with a video on how to use it for like private reading work, which is really interesting. And he teaches you how to make a gimmick. And I looked at it, and I thought it was really, really neat. You know, a very great way to have, you know, to divide a serial number from a dollar bill. But, you know, as far as I know, I might be wrong, but as far as I know, he's going to come out, he's going to add a video sometime about, like, where you can use it for private readings. And I thought that was, you know, a really interesting thing. So definitely check out. I mean, Doc's got a lot of great products out there. I've been on a couple of some of the recordings with him and everything. And but you know, I like.
Now you hosted one or two of them, didn't you?
What's that?
Were you a host on one or two of his?
Yeah. I was going to be, but we didn't have the time to do the audio. But we
yeah.
Still, but we're, okay. Yeah, but you know, but that might happen in the future sometime. I don't know. We'll see. That's all up to Doc. But you know, he's got a lot of great things. I mean, especially like, you know, the device ritual. I mean, that thing is so powerful. So you know, we really, I mean, me particularly, I really like Doc's stuff. He thinks that way, and especially with him and John Stetson when they get together and then think of things, it's you know, unstoppable. You know what they can do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to review or leak information about?
Actually, I don't know if anything
coming down
else
the pike
right now.
Yeah, I mean that's the newest stuff coming out. I mean that's the newest. There's some of the newest stuff that's coming out that caught our attention. Yeah,
for sure. And also, our good friend Tom Phoenix, he just released his Book of Wonders. I mean, it's been out for a while now, but he just, you know, put it out there for like a limited time only now. His Book of Wonders is awesome. Some of the stuff that he put in there was some of the effects that he demonstrated at the workshop, the recent workshop we did in Las Vegas.
Yeah, with Tom. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tom's if you don't know, if you guys don't know who Tom Phoenix is a underground creator out of Texas. He's somewhat of a savant at times. Is the best way to describe it. I mean, it's just literally savant-like skill. It just comes out of nowhere because he's relatively self-trained. So, I mean, you know, some of the stuff might look like other people's work, but when you really break it down, you can tell it's a pure Tom Phoenix kind of concept, and it's brilliant. I've been following his work for a while, and a lot of people, I don't think, know who Tom is, or they go, well, that's, you know, I don't know, they get all bound up in their brain. They don't, you know, pay attention to what he's trying to teach them. So.
Right. Exactly.
They get bogged down with a lot of the BS, and at Tom's going, they created a pretty crystal we're not even going to talk about, but that was a brilliant stroke of genius.
He's got a lot of out-of-the-box thinking. I mean, he just absolutely just fried me when I was there. I mean, some of the stuff that he's got in mind and some of the stuff that he can do. I mean,
the hot or cold book that he taught out in Vegas. Woo!
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, he's gonna. I'll tell you, that could be on the buzz section because we'll talk about that for a second. There's a book that you can get from Tom, and Tom doesn't even know we're talking about this. Neither does Larry or Tom Jorgensen.
Yeah,
but so this might be a surprise to them if they hear about it. But that's okay. But Tom's got a book. It's a hot and cold book, so you can either hot or cold. Now, this book's kind of interesting because if you lay on the table and have them touch it, it's perfectly normal. They touch it a few minutes later, it's about 110 degrees. It's kind of warm, or it's freezing. It's a really, really cool concept. I don't know if he's put it out in the books yet, or I don't know if it came out in his new one, or if he pulled it from it.
No, but, I think he did mention to me that it's something that people can get from him.
Yeah, I think you get it directly from him. It's not horribly expensive.
No. I mean, just the applications. I mean, he had me hold the book, and then all of a sudden it started turning like hot. So I'm like, whoa, you know. I mean, it wasn't like really hot, but it was pretty warm. And then all of a sudden, then he would have me hold it again, and then all of a sudden it would turn like ice cold. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, there was some weird mojo going on. Yeah, some weird, strange Tom Phoenix kind of magic. But yeah, you gotta love the guy. I mean, brilliant thinker, just absolute gem of a human being, actually. But yeah, a lot of people I don't think appreciate his work or appreciate what he's trying to teach them. And that hot cold book idea lit the crowd up that we were working for in Vegas. I mean, they went off on tangents, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's how good that thing is. It fires the imagination, and I'd have to say that's the way a lot of Tom's work is. Tom Phoenix's work is. It's going to fire your imagination, like like the Traveler Zodiac and Larry. Same thing. It's one of those devices, the tools that you end up with, tools or materials you end up with that fires the imagination of things you can do with it. Same thing with Tom Jorgensen's work.
Yeah. I mean, some of the things. I mean, my gosh. I mean, he taught how to get abducted by aliens and things of that nature. And I'm like, wow. How to make UFOs appear underwater. When you hear those reports of UFOs diving into water, and then the people can see the lights underneath. And I'm like, I was just blown away. Tom Phoenix is a really cool, out of the box thinker. He's a cool cat.
Yeah, I'd say he's up there with the whole Tony Jock Shields kind of approach to pulling pranks like the UFO thing, and Doc Shields had the great monkey thing.
Oh, easily. No question about it.
And he's up in that league of pranksterism when it comes to some of this stuff. So it's worth it if you're just a fan of that stuff,
Mhm.
I mean, you remember the UFO incident that Doc Shields created, don't you?
Yeah, I've only heard of it, but I don't know the whole story.
Well, he's got this farmer guy. I think this was might have been in Ireland or something. I don't remember exactly where it was, but there's this farmer guy. Okay, and he's going to pull a prank on him of UFOs and aliens landing on his property. And then one night, a bunch of fireworks and stuff go off, and here comes this little 3-foot high creature coming out of the forest, out of the edge of the forest, in a spacesuit.
Oh,
yeah. Freak this dude out. Now, what he did, this is brilliant, is he put a monkey in a spacesuit. Yeah, he put a monkey in a spacesuit and had it run out towards this guy.
Wow.
You know how hard it is to find a monkey.
That's
He's got a monkey
awesome.
in a spacesuit, just tearing this guy up, man. Doing a UFO invasion type thing. But this is the brilliance of it. I mean, like, and when you read some of Tom's more obscure stuff, you start having these kind of flashbacks of the old Shields work and how you pull these just elaborate hoaxes and pranks and just craziness. That's why I like Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because he has this approach that I think is remarkable. Now, not everything you're going to like. I mean, some of the card stuff, I think he's done very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. But, some of you might not like cars like me. I mean, I'm not a big card guy,
Right.
So in that case, although I do own some of this card stuff, but I'm not necessarily a fan of card magic in general, but I do like his stuff. That's just quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the way he thinks around the construct and how to build the thing and how clean it ends up being. Like his new ones where you take out a playing card box. You show it empty. You take a playing card, you rip it up, you put it in the playing card box, and you shake it, pull the card back out, and it's restored. I mean, that's a pretty clean thing.
Yeah.
And it's clean. I mean, it's clean. Your hands are clean. Everything's clean. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That one just came out. That was one of his new ones.
Yeah.
I thought that's definitely interesting, and there's something there, There's something there that can be maybe adapted and work to something else. I mean, there's principles involved there that are just purely kind of a Tom Phoenix way of thinking, and it's in the subtleties and the principles that you start going, hey, there's something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so, the guy, if you get a chance to see him, with us, that was like the first time he did a lecture for magicians and psychic entertainers. But if you ever get a chance, and we're going to possibly do another one with him here in the next couple months, but if you get a chance, you have to see his lecture. You will just be blown away by the genius creativity of his mind.
Yeah, and that's what we looked for. We had guys to our our lecture roster and stuff. Because I'm always teaching cutting edge stuff. You're teaching some obscure stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
our quick blurb on what we do. For those of you who don't know, I'm a genius.
Yeah.
I'm a genius manipulator. I'm working on completely new levels than other people are. So when you get into some of my work and you see how well some of these subtleties work, even to some of the small things. I was talking to Zeke Powers last week, actually. He was actually here in town, stopped by the shop late at night. And we were sitting there talking, and we're going to be doing the program called The Magus with him next week.
Mm-hmm.
That's MAGIS. It's an audio program where we're going to be going down some psychic trails and bizarre magic and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. Because we both come from different perspectives. He's working, doing psychic readings in the Bible Belt. I've actually worked that market before. It's quite different, But that will be on Sunday, I think, actually.
Yeah.
So we're scheduled to do that one. But so my thinking is different than a lot of other people's thinking, because I'm looking at how can we create a particular physical response without using electronics or other gimmicks.
Right.
How can we do it for almost, pretty much real? And that's where, and in some of my subtleties, we're talking about one of my subtleties with Zeke. We actually got to talk about a couple of them. But one of them was the what's it? It was an idea of, and he's taken it a bit farther, into his own persona. he now carries one of them with him. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pocket-sized object that when you first see it, you don't know what it is. Which is a what's it, because it asks a very important question of why. Why does he have that? Why is he carrying that? Who is this guy? And, as we know, anytime you ask the questions of why, right, is a good thing. If you get them to ask the question, why did he do that? Who is he? He's kind of mysterious. And this all helps with this whole personas of the psychic entertainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at that, and I talked about this on the last program we did, which I can't even remember the title of offhand. But why? Why is he wearing that pin, on his jacket? Or why is he, got that ring? Or it needs to be strange and unusual. It cannot be common. Okay, so the more unusual and strange it is, the more interactive it is, and it helps you open conversations that normally would not be open, right? Normally the conversation would be, hi, how you doing? You reach in your pocket, pull out your change for your donut and coffee, hand them the cash, and then you get the weird object that's going back, and they see it for a second, and it goes back in the pocket. There's a good chance they're going to ask, well, what was that? And now you're leaked into a conversation. You've piqued their interest and curiosity. And now obviously the object does something, does something magical, but it's a subtle way to get people involved in you and what you're doing without actually, do you want to see a trick? Crap.
Right.
And it's highly effective. It also adds elements of mystery to the whole persona and the persona grata. So this is a good thing, right? As mystery entertainers and mystery workers, right, we need objects that do things differently that maybe I can handle a person. That's a big one these days. But I also need an object to do something. And maybe in the way of creating belief, psychological response, inject into their dreams, or whatever. There's all kinds of things you can do with strange objects that you can't do with a normal object. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a fork. I mean, a fork's pretty much a fork. Has everybody seen it? We can tell one fork from the other fork because it's a fork shape. It's a fork image. It's a fork. We know what it's used for. It's used for either baling hay or farm things or eating with. I mean, it's pretty much a fork. But when an object is strange, has a strange symbol on it or a strange shape, a strange symbol, and they've never seen it before because it's a unique object, this changes the mindset. The mind, the human mind, doesn't know what that object is. Okay, so it has to file it differently under unknown objects. Now, this is the approach into breaking into a very complex psychological concept. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That has to do with how the mind processes data, which in itself is extraordinary. Okay, so with the current science, well, first off, I'm not a skeptic, okay? I don't think there's enough research yet to make a decision one way or the other on anything I'm going to tell you, okay? And I don't think Robert's a big skeptic either because what we know to be fact and what they say is BS are completely different. So,
right.
Take what you want, do with what you want. So we have a strange object. We have something we've never seen before. Now, the way the mind processes that is interesting, okay? The left side of the brain is going to process it very logically, as in the terms of words, numbers. It's approximately this size. Bam. It's going to categorize it. It's going to make judgments about it, okay? The right brain's not going to do that. It's going to process it as a visual image. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the mind starts to relax and the body starts to relax, these two minds, which we're going to refer to as like left and right, or conscious and subconscious, and there's actually multiple levels of each of these, working simultaneously in both hemispheres of the brain. So you have a subconscious and a conscious in the right side of the brain. You have a subconscious and conscious in the left side of the brain in that hemisphere, okay? The two hemispheres do work separately, but they work in unison, so they both exist, okay? So what happens is a matter of how information recall is stored. Now, this is where it gets fascinating, and this is where more and more research is being done, and it's still growing. The right side of the brain, the creative side of the brain, sends that, whatever it saw, over to the other brain in the form of a picture, for example, okay?
Mm-hmm.
However, that side of the brain doesn't respond to pictures. It responds to words and numbers and this kind of thing, very symbolic or non-symbolic, very, symbolic in a way, but it responds in like language and words and terms and very logical context. So when the right brain sends its information over, it sends it as a picture, okay? Well, this is a problem. Because the left brain doesn't really understand the picture that's coming in, okay? But the left brain does it too. It sends its information to the right brain for storage as, you ready for this? Words and letters and other stuff that it doesn't understand. So it sees it as these jumbled mess of sounds and images like L, for example, LA. And then it takes those LA and it merges them together into an image, and then it stores it in a bank, in its memory banks, as an image with sound. Okay? The other half, instead of this image, is over as an artwork, and it goes, okay, we got to follow some more artwork. So we follow this as a visual image, but I've associated these words with it, so now I know what this visual image is, and I'll put it over here in this brain. Well, when you start to relax, both these images come crashing together. Okay? And they tend to form new images. They also start to form dreams. This is what your dreams are made of, is this deep relaxation process, partially. Or at least they're junk dreams, what's known as junk dreams, the random bits of information that we get bogged down with every day. It gets turned around and spewed around and kicked back out in terms of a dream. So the unusual object helps to assist with that because it doesn't have anything to process. It doesn't know how to process or catalog it. So it's a new, unique kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
New, unique kind of things trigger mystery within the mind.
Wow.
Well, that's exciting. So when we trigger mystery in the mind, we can trigger experience with it. So we take mystery and we combine that with experience, right? Bam, we got this new thing going on. And just by assigning certain meanings to the object, it doesn't matter what the object is, really, but we can change the perception of the object, which will change every other perception of objects similar to that object that you've ever seen. Right? It'll add that information tags to all those objects. You with me?
Uh-huh.
So by adding an information tag to all the other objects, okay, what do we just do? The next time we see them, we can use one of the regular objects that's related to this strange object and trigger the similar response with that type of object. Now, so if your unusual object actually relates to a common object, but because you've added new information to all the previous common objects that person's mind has ever seen that are related to that, it becomes something new. For example, now let me give you an example. The unusual object's round, okay? It has 2 holes in it, or 4 holes in it. But it has an unusual shape on it, there's something unusual about this that says it is not a button. It is something more than a button, okay? It is a mysterious object. And then you use that mysterious object, and let's say that mysterious object turns hot or cold, right? Or that mysterious object is always hot. You just tell them, this object's always hot. I don't know why, but it's always hot. So when we hand it to them, and it's always hot, you know? Or it's always cold, or it produces a sensory vibration, produces some weird energy coming off it or something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But since it's not a button, but it looks like a button, all the buttons it's ever seen is now going to have a very similar effect, or it's going to have an information tag in that process. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you can then do if you use this particular type of object, and it has to be a very unusual symbol that nobody's ever seen before, that symbol gets triggered in. So if you pulled out your object and say, if I take my object and I touch it to your button on your shirt, and I put it back in my pocket, your button on your shirt will have the same properties already as this object for a limited amount of time. You want to place your hand over your chest, and when they place their hand over the chest, over that button on their shirt, it'll exhibit the same properties that the object did due to memory recall. And do a very clever biochemical muscular response. By place your hand, take your hand down to your side like you're doing nothing. Now place it on like the third button of your shirt. Or place it, about an inch or two away from the third button on your shirt. Get that a little tingly?
Yeah.
Okay. That's how you would set that up.
Beautiful.
So my way of thinking, that's kind of like my way of thinking, which is it ain't normal, dude. It's savant level. But it does allow you to do things that you wouldn't be able to normally do, and that's kind of the important. That's kind of the importance of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when as a mystery entertainer or a psychic entertainer or a tarot reader or whatever, we add this extra elements of mystery into what we do, we change the experience for our clients from this dull, mundane thing they've seen before to something they've never seen before and is now interesting, which gives us a level up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes our work easier to do. It also makes our work much more interesting. And that's why we use strange and wonderful objects that nobody's ever seen before. A lot of times, gemstones are that way because no two are exactly the same. So you have that's a natural tumble. Gemstones are natural stones. No two of them are really ever the same, Although the formation of the crystal may be the same thing, so you can identify as crystal. But if you look at it, 100 crystals like I have laying on my table here, you're not going to be able to tell which one's which. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
By recall, because every crystal is basically, you're just going to identify it because you've seen them before, and your mind identifies it as a crystal. Boom, crystal, 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 okay? But I want the one I know about the size I want because my mind's saying, I want this larger one that's about the 2.5 inch size that weighs about an ounce, because it's fat, as opposed to the crystal chunks. It should be a perfect thing for a tumbled stone. But you see what I'm saying? So it's going to trigger a different response. But once we understand how these responses work, okay, how our brains work, how our biochemistry works, we can start combining things together, and then we can start introducing things in there that change the context of all the previous objects before it. Because it'll be filed on a related concept if it is, is a round object with a couple holes, like a button. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, the mysterious object is not limited to just the buttons. It could be anything. The stranger and more unique it is, the better it is. Okay? Provided they've never seen it before, you're in pretty good shape. And it also adds back to the original idea of a conversation piece. A thing to help aid in starting conversations. In the last 5 or 6 years, magicians don't actually communicate with each other anymore. Right? That's why we went to primarily an audio thing, because it's more of a communicatory level than just sitting around reading a book, which they can do in isolation. Because Denny Henny at Denny and Lee Magic Shop pointed this out there a while back. Magicians don't actually perform for each other anymore either. They don't communicate with each other as they did in the old days, back when the days when you were actually learning magic and mentalism and psychic work and all this stuff. You actually did it for people. Now they just pull out the phone, look what I'm working on. Well, look what I'm working on. You know, it's all on iPhone. That's ridiculous. So by changing this mentality, we might be able to affect and change how our viewers' experience is within our entire, presentation, act, or, whatever we're doing. Right?
Uh-huh.
So by changing that presentation, by changing just subtle things in it, just little subtle things, we make it more interesting, okay? Which helps with attention span, which helps people stick around with what we're doing in this short attention span days a little longer than it would be normally. And this is an invaluable thing. Now, on the program we did, last week? I can't remember what the title was. Do you remember what the title of that one was?
Psychic Work?
Psychic Work 3, yes.
Yeah.
I gave a whole bunch of ways to do just that, But some of this came from that program. But some of this is new information, which is kind of cool. But it's how we develop and move into these ideas, you know what I'm saying? But we can take this weird concept and apply it to about anything, right?
Uh-huh.
The reason magic was so effective, I think, when we saw our first trick, is we never seen it before. The first time you saw somebody take a silk, a small 6-inch silk, stick it in their hand and it vanished, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't know about the device they used because you've never seen it before, right?
Right.
That sparked the moment of wonder.
Wow.
Which led many of us down the obsessional road.
Right.
So, and in that regard, that moment of wonder is created by something we've never seen before. Right? Now, here's the problem. This is where the problem comes in. The magician, or the psychic entertainer, rehearses this piece again and again and again. Hey, Robert, go ahead and talk for a second so I can... No. I had somebody trying to beat through.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay.
It's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. They're gone. They probably figured out I got a call, so...
Oh, okay.
So this moment of wonder is created by something we've never seen before. The problem is, as entertainers, we rehearse the same thing over and over and over and over again to make it perfect, right? To create this moment of wonder so we can show it to somebody else. In doing so, we've destroyed the moment of wonder for us. We don't have a recollection of that moment of wonder any longer. For that effect. We've killed it. Okay? Now this gets into our consciousness and the way we react, and that gets transferred through some form of body language to the other person, like, that's not a big deal. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That is why one magician will do something very astounding, because he's reliving that original moment of wonder when he first saw the thing, okay, and conveying that to his audience, as where the other magicians just rolling through the motions. he's missing part of the aspect, the experience. Right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, when you watch Matt King's amazing rope routine, you know, the rope routine does. He has a genuine experience of, like, you know, when that thing, the cord changes ends, it's almost a surprise to him. It's like, hey, you could actually do that. You know, it's almost, there's a feeling there that, hey, you just did that. I see, you know, it's really cool. But when you see some other amateur performers do that, they're just going through the motions, and yes, it changed ends, but where's the moment of wonder? See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's why the two effects fail, or different. Because Mac, kind of like when he does something, like when he eats a goldfish or something, he knows there's a surprise, and he feels that actual real surprise, maybe way back when he saw it again, because he relives that memory. At the same time, he's presenting the item, and that's strong, man. But you see it in his performances usually when he's on, when he's really, really on. He's really, really on. But you can see that there's that surprise moment, you know. He doesn't telegraph the surprise coming. He lets the surprise happen. See what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But it's almost like he's reliving that initial moment in his own mind, so he recalls the energy from that to transform that, to send that back to the audience. And that's a pretty magical thing, actually, even though he's done it probably 50,000 times. Bring 2 shows a day, you know, 3 shows a day for years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But there's always that moment in there where, oh, hey, the end's over here. Oh, the end's over here, you know. But there's that moment there that really does kick. Unlike some of the other performers where they don't have that moment of experience because they're so focused on method. You gotta have the hand move exactly like this to do this. You know, it's too rigid and stale, and that shows through to an audience. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have other guys that do it, like one of the great coin guys, Michael Rubenstein, does really, really wonderful coin magic, but there's still a pop and a surprise there at the end. He's even kind of surprised, you know. You see that with Gallo, you know, Gallo and Gallo, both the coin guys. You see it with Roth. You see those moments of, you know, surprise. But boom, this thing actually happened. And it's amazing. You see in the work of Ricky Jay, you know. And he do that stuff in his sleep. But you still see that he doesn't ruin the moment, you know, the moment. That's what I'm saying. The moment doesn't get ruined in that. And I think that's pretty important. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with mindset, right? Recalling those early memories when we were fooled by the same things. Because isn't that really the experience we're trying to share with somebody else?
Yes.
Are we trying to share the experience of us doing the effect? No, not really most of the time. Or what are we really trying to show? We're trying to tell the story of how, when we first saw this, we were surprised without actually telling that story, right? And we think they might like it too. I think that's pretty simple. And the way we do that is we do one thing while we're recalling something else in our heads. So our body language shifts just ever so slightly to bring back that initial moment of wonder where we were, you know, amazed and amused. Even though most of the guys that were performing those things were probably just doing it as badly as they could possibly do it. But we're still fooled, you know, because we've never seen the device or the gizmo or the gadget or whatever they actually achieved the protocol, which I think was, you know, it's an interesting way to look at things too. Because, you know, if we're trying to create the sense of mystery or the sense of wonder or the sense of phenomena through whatever means necessary, real or fake, some of the effects on the market you can actually do for real. Get you some of that.
Wow.
That's a wild one. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And we might get into some of those a little later in the series if it's supported. by our listeners. But so these things can be done genuinely, or what appears to be very genuine, provided we do a little setup, maybe, But it comes across as a weird, mysterious event that the person can go about and talk about to their friends, so they can attempt to share that moment with their people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're not really in the business of show business. We're actually in the business of sharing. Think about that in this context.
True.
Okay, now go ahead and talk for a bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was basically just going to say that. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that one thing I always talk about is that how important it is to really connect with our audiences, because there's.
Oh, I concur.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to diss anybody. I'm not going to name names or anything. But when I watch certain acts, I'm thinking to myself, what in the world are they trying to do here? Because you can tell that the audience looks bored. So, sometimes they might be amazed, but then they just goes back to boredom, and then they're like, okay, all right, that was a cool show. All right, we're out of here. And it's like, they just, I don't know, there's just no entertainment value there. But when you really connect with an audience, then you become a different style of performer. I mean, like when I perform publicly, when I do my shows, I always make sure that I always try to connect with them, even if they, if they got sad look on their faces and everything. I want to connect with them. I want to become their friend for that next hour when I'm performing.
Right, and I think a lot of that, our buddy Neil Square talked about that. The first 5-10 minutes is the psyche stuff. The rest of the time is being a friend.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's a pretty good way to look at things too, because reality is we may be paid to be there to speak or give a lecture or perform a show or do whatever what it is we're designed to do that day. Which for some of us we have various professions we work in, but our job is at the end of the day they feel good when we're done.
Yeah.
We are in a feel-good business. And if you work metaphysics, you are in a feel-good business, people. So you need to feel good, right? You can't work pissed off and beat down and, depressed, and it's just not going to come across very well. So there's techniques for that, too, to get your head in the right space. And I think those are important,
Yeah.
And some of them are fairly simple. Just think about a time when you were happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or in complete ecstasy if that was your happiness, Just get into that headspace and then go out. But don't, keep it clean when you're working in the all-age shows.
Yeah.
But, get into that, get in the right space, because you can't walk out on stage pissed off.
Exactly.
But yet we see a lot of entertainers do just that. And I think some of that arises to the fact that, they're running late for the gig. They showed up almost too late. Get there an hour or two earlier, If you need an hour to set up, get there 2.5 hours early. It's fine, dude. It really is. Set your mind in right. Make sure you're comfortable and calm, because the guy, you had 4 people cut you off, 2 people try to hit you, and a flat tire on the way. You see what I'm saying? All that stuff.
Precisely.
It bothers you. It bogs down the mind, and then when you get into the gig, if you're running late, you're there, you change, you boom, you're on the stage, and you're just not right, So take a moment, get into the right headspace to go out and share these wonderful experiences with your audience. Because you've worked. We both worked. Sick and pissed off, and Yeah, those were not good shows.
No.
Like the time I left stage and had a temperature of 106. I'm about ready to stroke out. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
That was an ugly show, man. Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing the effects, about ready to fall over. Literally just like, like, is this guy on heroin? No, he's just that sick. Horrible, horrible experience. But, you know, I mean, all these things happen, though, and sometimes we got to work through it, but, you know, we don't cancel gigs, ever.
Right.
Although some of them we probably should have. But, you know, a lot of that can be fixed, and don't wear, let me give you the tip. Let me hit the tip again. Don't wear your stage clothes while you're driving to the gig.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
Jeans and the T-shirt or whatever's, you know, comfortable. But don't wear the stage clothes when you're driving to the gig. When you get to the gig, hit the bathroom, change, you come out looking fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't wear stage gear to the gig. Because too many times you'll spill coffee on yourself. You know, I'm going to grab a coffee on the way over. Bam, it's on my lap. Shit. Now I got to go work this gig, you know? The coffee dribble down my white shirt. You know, it just doesn't look right, you know? So never wear your stage attire when you're driving to the gig. Tip one.
Good point.
You know, I mean, I think it's an important point, too. But there's a lot of things we can do to change our mindsets before we hit a stage. And those are just a couple of them. You know, one of the big ones, don't wear your stage clothes to, you know, to the gig, change there.
Good point.
And then it's okay if if you spill coffee on yourself while you're having a coffee while you're lecturing or something, you spill it on yourself. Well, yeah, you know, it happens. We'll just find it funny and amusing. You know, but I mean, it's one of those things that I don't think a lot of the newer performers, I don't think, know any of this because they haven't really been trained properly, you know? They don't have anybody mentoring them. You know, they're learning it on their own. They're going out and trying to do this. Hey, that's great, man. But there's some things you might want to pay attention to. And they're very subtle, and they have nothing to do with whatever you're doing. You know, but they do have everything to do with how to make your audience feel better. And how you can have a better show. Go ahead, Ron.
Nope. No, that's a very good point. And one of the things I talked about in my book, Gigs Right Now, is always check, make sure, everything is looking good right before you go out to the show. Check your, if you've eaten something, take some floss with you. Come on. I mean, you can go to the store, get some 95-cent floss. Take some floss with you, because sometimes, if you're about to do a show, but everybody's eating beforehand and you eat, sometimes food gets stuck in there without you even knowing it. When you smile, it don't look good. So take some floss with you and keep it in your pocket, and that would be a perfect time, like if you're going to do some sort of floss routine or, but definitely, keep some floss, keep it clean, because that's something I had to learn the hard way. It was not pretty. I was very embarrassed.
Well, the other thing is I don't usually eat before a gig,
Right. But sometimes, if it's a banquet dinner and everybody eats before the entertainment, they invite you to eat, then you have to eat some,
But generally eat light so you don't have to, run to the bathroom in the middle of the gig,
Exactly.
Some of that banquet food does not agree with the stomach, dude. I'm telling you.
Right. Yeah. So very, very good point. But I think that's a good high note to end this sidecast with.
Yeah. Why not? How long have we been on? About an hour or so?
Yeah. About an hour, 10 minutes. But the thing is, we're going to come out with, more of these, in the future. And but of course, like I said, your support is really important because it costs us money to put these together, our money and our time away from our own family. So so any kind of help is appreciated.
Yeah, and we'll use that money to better the cast, so
right,
get better servers and better quality, and better microphones and all that. So at some point we'll start upgrading once we have the fees to upgrade. If you guys care, if you guys don't care, don't contribute. That's
Mhm.
And that's Bill at BillMontana.com. You can reach me. Now the website's not really running properly; it's kind of jacked up, so. Not much on it right now, but I think there is a contact page.
Yeah, and at some point, we're going to, come out with special guests as well. So, any kind of help, that would be greatly appreciated. So.
Yeah, and then some of the, we'll give honorariums to the special guests. So, they're not doing the stuff for free, taking time away from their families and stuff. So.
Exactly.
At least, don't have to buy them lunch or something. But yeah, we're trying to do things a little differently on these. We're going to try this out and see how it goes. So we're not sure how it goes, and we're not sure what the format's going to be yet, but this is the first one. You can take a listen, and if you like it, we'll teach you more stuff. Now, some of the stuff I teach on these programs, on these podcasts, won't be quite the level of the stuff I teach in my other programs that are for sale, but like that. The new one coming out with the Magist with Zeke Powers, which is going to be outstanding. That's Powerz. Or, the last one I did, Psyche Work 3, or Psyche Work 2, or Psyche Work 1, we did with Craig Browning. Question I did with Jerome Finley, that was a cool program.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Inside the Seance Mind, where you have 4 volumes of just pure, unadulterated seance madness. It'll teach you about everything you need to know. It does give you some tricks, but it gives you all the other stuff too. It's literally like 10 or 11 hours of the material right there on seance work. Mystic Energy is approaching the 20-hour mark, I think, plus ebooks and manuscripts and stuff. It's massive. Yeah, it's massive. Volume 8's getting ready to be released in that series. And that's a monumental series where you're going to learn some really, really hardcore stuff. Don't even think Volume 1's kind of tame compared to what Volume 7 is.
Yeah.
And it keeps getting wilder and wilder. So, yeah, if you like more of this abstract mentalist stuff, that's the program to check out on that. And we're going to try to upload these to, I think, YouTube is where I think it's going to be. So. Give me a new little channel over on YouTube. If you want to check them out, you can check them out there. Subscribe to the channel once it goes up so you can, find out when the next release happens. But don't forget to donate. So anything helps, couple dollars, $5, $10, $100, $1,000. $1,000 will buy us the podcast system. All these things actually will help to, increase the qualities. And eventually we'll try to get into video and stuff. But right now I got some video issues and fairly low resolution camera. So I don't really want to use it. Just old. Technology's starting to develop and get better and better and better. Now, here's a big thing. If you have questions or comments, Bill at Bill Montana at BillMontana.com. So you can hit me up there. I check it out once a day or so. It's not one of my check all the time list, but I'll check it once a day and get back to everybody. If you want to donate, email me at the address, and then I'll send you the other email. So you have that. If you have questions, comments, or would like to appear as a guest on this show, that's the email. Okay?
Yeah. And then just as a quick note also that, anybody who, that would donate to us to help this program, me and Bill are still working out the kinks, but we'll make sure that we're going to do like a monthly drawing, and you can win a free digital product of the month.
Or physical product, depending on what it is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
I build a lot of stuff, and I build a lot of stuff, but I don't build a lot of stuff, you know. I mean, I build a lot of different stuff. Like the newest product I put out was the all-seeing eye tarot marker, which is kind of cool. It's a gray piece of wood with an all-seeing eye on it, wrapped in copper with a felt back, used in tarot readings, and you can see that on I think it's on Bill Montana's Facebook page. So check that out.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So, and if you want to tip us off to a hot product, it's email. Shoot us a message. Let us know if there's something that you think we like and we should check out. Let us know about it. Because here's the problem. I'll give you a quick rundown on the problem right now. Is a lot of people are putting great stuff out, but nobody knows about it.